Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and we're going to be doing the Call of Warhammer mod. I'm going to be playing as the WoodElves paired with Indie Pride, so we have some Dryads, Light Infantry, and also these War Dancers, Light Infantry here hidden in the woods. And what are we encamping here? Well, this is tied to the new official Total Warhammer DLC that's coming out, which is the Beastmen, so we are actually set up to try and take out this Beastmen encampment here. It looks more like an orc settlement, so the beastmen have settled themselves here, perhaps having killed the orcs and taken their bodies. Who knows what they're doing with them, but anyways, we are here to try and assault them. A massive wood elf army set up in front. So let's go over Indie Pride's army. He has a leftmost flank here with some tree kin in the back, some kind of medium-sized trees. I have some of the larger pair on my side. He has the Eternal Guard, some elite spearmen, and then last we have a ton of these Glade Guard elite missile infantry. The Wood Elves are known for their very good range units. He has some loose order Weight Watchers who are actually hidden, so a lot of range units that we're going to try and kite with the Beastmen. Some Dryads positioned here, also going to be hiding, crouching in the snow. Some trees trying to hide in plain sight. All you got to do is stand around. I mean, you look like a tree. It's the easiest camo around. So then he has a whole bunch more Weight Watchers, Glade Guard, and Wildwood Rangers, heavy infantry. So a large proportion of Indy's forces are going to be these range units. He also has another unit of the Treekin here. This is his general's unit. So the Wood Elves is something that's probably going to come to Total Warhammer in due time. People have noted that, you know, why are we getting Beastmen before Bretonnia, even though Bretonnia pretty much has a lot of its units in the game. It's already playable in multiplayer, and a lot of people have theorized, well, they're going to wait to release the free Bretonnia DLC alongside or nearby the Wood Elves because they're tied in lore. So in any case, we're going to be playing it with the Wood Elves here. So my force is arrayed with some treekin. I have a bit more of the forest creatures than Indie Pride does, so 2 of the treekin in the front, and then I did bring one of these tree men units, very much ant-like forces. Massive, very expensive units there. So that's going to be holding down my front lines, and then have Eternal Guard Spearmen to back that up. And then in my rear, I've staggered some Glade Guard, Wildwood Rangers, and more Glade Guard. Basically, what I'm trying to do... Oh, actually, these are heavy infantry, sorry. But what I've tried to do is just stagger back my missile units. I'm going to be a bit, or at least I plan to be a bit more tanky than Indie Pride in my deployment. So the big trees and other units back here, Eternal Guard, and my ambush force, mind you, that we looked up at the first part, is over there in the distance. But anyways, I'm pulling up with my Glade Guard. I'm going to try and get in range and start to get my early shots off. But let's watch as the Beastmen herd sprawls out, and it is ginormous. We have Minotaurs plowing forward. They have a bunch of these Beastigors. Tons of units sprawling forward. You can see the massacre that's taking place already with our preliminary ranks getting shots off. He's got his cavalry in our ranks, and just this enormous swarm is bearing down on Indy. This is not a good position for us to be in. The Dryads here, or sorry, the Treekin, going to try and hold back the Minotaurs. They're going to get shot to bits, or chomped up into little bits. You know, the enemy's charging forward. Bestigors here are incredibly strong. Indy's going to try and hold out with his units, but they're going to get just smashed by the endless tide of units. Light Gores and Ungors with spears getting in the back, and look at that, his entire front rank has collapsed. The Wood Elves in the rear are going to try and hold strong. They're not looking good. So Beastmen are a very big rush army. Front lines on this side have been tied up with Wildwood Rangers, heavy infantry. We're having a better chance with these light armed Gores, but it's in the center where you have these huge Minotaur unit, the heavy infantry, that is just soaking up all of our fire, clobbering through the ranks, making room for the other units to push forward, and just tying everything down. So that's happening on this front. On my front, I've kept most of my units in the back. My Glade Guard and other units are going to be firing into the flank of that mess, trying to take down those huge bestial units. In the front, what I've decided to do is plow forward, take out the enemy Gores with my huge trees. And then now we're going to get a quick charge with my Treekin. Another charge is going to be going off here. Ooh, and Indy's Lord does go down right there in a wave of just, God, chaos-infused demons of the forest. But yeah, my engagement's going a little bit better in the sense that it hasn't been as huge of a rush. I charge out with my trees to blunt the assault, although Minotaurs are getting around the flank. And what I do have is a big reserve that I'm now going to activate. War Dancers and some of these Dryads, light infantry. So I'm going to get the drop on these Bastigors, elite units. I mean, look at their disposition here. The heavy armor, the horns, the helmets, the axes. I can't wait to see these guys in Total Warhammer in action. But anyways, I'm going to get a charge through on their flank. Well, my guys are light infantry, so I don't expect them to do too well. I'm circling around with more units, and we'll see how I do. You know, my front is still holding with the Treekin. Barely holding out. The rear ranks are starting to fall back as they get pummeled by these Minotaurs. They are not going down. I have some of my heavy infantry trying to fight them off, but the Minotaurs here, only a fool could lose these battles. They do seem overpowered in this mod. Huge tanky units where if you can't shoot them and take them out quickly, then they're going to get in your ranks and cause all kinds of havoc. So I only have a couple spare archers left. This one here has been caught up in the Minotaur ball, this one as well. Meanwhile, Indy's Pride is just being completely bushwhacked. This was, I mean, you saw the horde that charged out from him. This is a quick flooding of the enemy forces that charged out after him. We did kill a fair amount of units. Enemy reserves are going to pull out. Chaos Warriors were actually in the mix. We do see some Centaurs left over. But yeah, we killed a lot of the enemy in that charge. Look at all these light troops just taken out by our archers. And so now the front ranks have been demolished. And Indy has pulled back. He does still have some archers, and now it's going to be up to him to kite. This is the type of engagement we would have preferred to have, is a kind of retreat like this, or a staggered approach where we can shoot at the enemy and retreat, shoot at the enemy and retreat. We just finished off a cluster of units in this engagement. So this is the type of fight we want to take. Taking out stragglers here, and not just standing up to the horde, to the stampede that we had in front of us. That is not how we should have taken this fight. We just completely clobbered. But like I said, now as they chase us, we do have a chance to shoot them up. So Indy's going to be doing everything he can to recuperate. And these are just light gore units. So the second you can see we perform our archer ranks, they're going to absolutely just get torn to little bits and pieces, pegged to the ground with the arrows, and yep, absolutely rout. So now we can reform our lines in the far distance. Although we are at a disadvantage, far away from the safety of our trees, in the open fields here. Not the greatest of positions for us. When they are still able to close ranks. Meanwhile, over here, the Minotaurs are trying to close on us. Indy has nothing left in terms of infantry. So once again, it's going to be up to him to kite and run away from these huge, monstrous infantry, bloodied. This guy's got brass knuckles on him. These are ferocious troops. This just to show the sheer monstrous power of the Beastmen. Although it should be noted that in this particular mod, the WoodElves are not known to be the most powerful. In fact, they're one of the weakest factions. So this matchup is perhaps not the best in terms of balance. But it does serve a pretty good theme, and we were just not ready for the swarm of chaos forces, the swarm of beastmen issuing out of this formation. On my side, things are not going well either. I do have a lot of my units tied up with the Minotaurs, not being able to kite as successfully as Indy Pride. My big trees have kind of held their own in the center, but the enemy just charged right on through to my weaker underbelly, my weaker ranks of the archers. Chaos Warriors as well, Warriors of Corn. Yep, getting in the mix here, cleaning up my trees. They came with hatchets. They're going to be chopping away limbs. In the back, my ambush did somewhat work. Light infantry against the Bastigors. I'm not sure how I'm intended to win this, but with the combination of forces, it looks like I do have the upper hand against these elite units, so that is a nice retribution. However, there is these pesky Chaos Warriors of Nurgle coming in through the back, and I do kill, I believe that was one of the Chaos forces, so I'm doing okay on this front. My big trees did go down somewhere in the center when they were fighting against the Minotaurs. They were actually not a worthwhile investment, just because the enemy had such huge swarming ranks that the time to kill for my trees was so slow that they couldn't stop the enemy. So the enemy just, dispatched a couple cheap troops, tied them up for the entirety of the battle, and just swarmed past them. So swarming tactics is definitely going to be the MO for the Chaos and Beastmen forces. Oh my god, my little Dryad there just taken to town by these mighty Khorne warriors. So I'm still left standing somewhat. Couple more units in the back. Oh, here's one of my big trees. Like I said, the time to kill for him is very slow. Most of the time, I thought he'd be able to take out these Minotaurs, but instead he's kind of just trying to blend in. His tree brethren has gone down. He did kill a Minotaur there, but now it's taking him a while. Doing anything in Entish takes a very long time, is the story of this battle, pretty much. Not quick enough, and the enemy meanwhile is just swarming him, so he's going to go down in a blaze of glory. They're going to make, a blazing fire out of him after this battle, for sure. So that's my engagement. I've been left with almost nothing, although we do have a couple of our own troops, renegade forces, that have actually been left over here cleaning up the enemy in the center encampment, and I did pull over some of my last few remaining WoodElves, or actually Indy Pride has them here, and what we're trying to do is do a ninja cap on the enemy settlement. Perhaps that'll give us a win. So Indy is going to be trying to clean this up. The enemy is going to be drawing back with some of their routing units that once they get into the capture zone should be coming back. Gore's coming in, but I have some of my own heavy infantry, so we're going for the morale victory here. Meanwhile, the enemy continues to rampage in the back. Indy has kind of won out on his flank. The Minotaurs are bouncing back between our units, but at this point they're pretty tired, pretty slow, and now we have the chance to just shoot them from all flanks. Our light, nimble elves can just jump away from them, and this is where we start to have an advantage. So Indy doing a good job with his micro, preventing his units from being tied down. More Glade Guard in the back coming back, so he does have a pretty good chance here, but these units are not going down. I think just... Nope, still at 15 units. I don't think they've lost a single Minotaur. Goes to show the health on these units is ridiculous. More Minotaurs in the back. These guys were reduced down to 6. Here comes the remainder of the forces from my side of the battlefield coming forward. Chaos Warriors, and then another couple of Minotaurs. For some reason it's telling me Children of Nurgle. Not quite sure. Those are definitely Minotaurs. Oh, sorry. I think I'm reading that incorrectly. Yeah, sorry. These are Minotaurs from two different armies, from the Children of Nurgle army versus the Warriors of Khorne army. But yeah, it's all descending on Indy, so hope is not really on his side. My units have been absolutely flattened. Nothing left. Warriors of Khorne just glistening with the blood and the bark and the sap of their defeated enemies. More units running away, and this is the bloodbath that was left over. My guys came down, fighting to the last man. This is what was left over of that fight. These cheapo Warriors of Khorne thrown into the back of my engagement, and a single Bestigor unit with 29 men left. I probably would have massacred it had it not been for reinforcements. Meanwhile, in the center, we're fighting a determined engagement to try and take out these few remaining troops still at the capture point. I believe this is going to be, my general here. Going to be carving through the enemy with his double-handed sword. Trying to do work, but the Bestigors here are going to be very, very hard to take out. 17 of them left. Ooh. Or sorry, 7 of them left. We have 2 units of them? Fair amount, it looks like. Yeah, my general, he's killing the Gores, but all of a sudden behind him, then he witnesses the true fury of what it means to be a Beastman. Yeah, he's trying to parry those blows. This is not going to go well. Ooh, gets a big thwack across the face. Oh my god, he is not long for this world. Still whirling about, trying to do damage. Gets punched with the butt of that axe. The other guy keeps grinding, hitting him in the face. Yeah. So, this is the end of our force. Looks like we do still have actually some archers who are trying to support that engagement in the center. And they were kind of the watchers, trying to signal when the enemy force is coming back. and it looks like that moment is going to be coming soon. Although we do actually have a couple more units holding the enemy back, so we are able to keep them somewhat at bay. They've been pretty distracted chasing in our units. They've gotten enough critical mass where they can, you know, assign at least 1 or 2 units for each of our units, so we can no longer kite or not kite effectively. It looks like we've been reduced to just a single remaining archer unit. Unloading on the Minotaurs. We finally brought one down here, but look what's surrounded by him, like a handful, a dozen or so of wood elves around him, and that is the story of this battle. Every enemy we slew took down 10 or 12 units with them, so yeah, look at this. Look what's left in the wake of these bulls. Freaking crazy. And every arrow that hits them is only going to push their fury even further. Yep, Glade Guard routing, all that. Let's go back and check on our final couple units here. Looks like my general is still alive. Yep, he is the only one left remaining, although it looks like the enemy is exhausted with a chance of losing. Only some Gores left here. Ooh, and with the final Vestigore here, taking out our general actually. They are going to make a huge... Oh, look at the enemy. They're going to make a huge sacrifice, a huge altar of bones and skulls and bows and limbs tonight. This is going to be just... You do not want to come back here at night and witness the pile of corpses that they dig up. Jeez, it's going to be crazy. But that's it. The rest of our units here that were on Overwatch essentially are now going to get engaged by these remaining Vestigores, armed only with you know, a bow and a little sword. I don't think we're going to be able to hold out, although we are killing some of these Vestigores, so it looks like... No, only a fool. Oh, victory does seem certain. Oh, but they do break. Looks like India admitted defeat right at that moment when we could have maybe taken out the enemy, but still... Oh, we could have perhaps taken the capital. Wasn't much left on this side. But as I say that, I mean, we can pan over to this side of the battlefield where things with the main army were not going in our favor. Minotaurs still in high numbers, still chasing in our units. And over on this flank, a combination of Gores, Minotaurs, Bestigores, Chaos Warriors chasing the rest of our puny little wood elves away. In terms of army numbers, the enemy tremendously outnumbered us. We did kill actually way more than us, so I take back what I said prior, where every enemy we killed a dozen of ours. Looks like the KD was better in our favor. And the enemy was actually brought down pretty low. Look at this, only 313 and 444 units left at the end of it. So a little bit closer than the battle seems to have indicated, but still, that swarm that they threw us in the opening engagements, that was brutal. And the Minotaurs here, yes, there's only, you know, 313 and 444 units left, but of those, you know, the large majority are elite units where even our few remaining troops banded up together could not have taken out those troops. So a bloody, bloody final battle here. Indy here with Tree. Let's see who got actually the most casualties inflicted. The Rangers here. Yep, Weight Watcher. So he did a great job with his archers, getting in a lot of kills. Myself here, getting pretty good kills on the Treeman here, which is my most expensive kind of unit. The large tree with only 47 kills. Definitely not worth the investment. Had I invested in some more Dryads and Treekin, or even a couple more archers and kited more like Indy had been able to, I think it would have pulled off much more beneficial kill. At the same time, we just didn't have a chance to counter the Minotaurs properly, and that was essentially what won the enemy the battle. But anyways, I hope this does leave a little inkling for what to expect in the future when it comes to the Beastmen, when it comes to the WoodElves. I'm very excited to hear more of the official release of this. The Beastmen are such an interesting faction. The WoodElves also are going to offer much more interesting play, and I'm sure the same lesson learned in this battle will apply. Do not stand in the face of a herd like this that is stampeding. Stay back, kite, and fight. And that is actually what I'm looking forward to when they finally release the WoodElves. Is a different style of play that is not going to be all about kiting, but to do so, they're going to have to greatly expand the multiplayer battlefields, because right now they're too short. It favors rush armies, and especially with the stats that they've announced for the Beastmen, where they can Vanguard deploy, that means that, you know, this type of battle engagement is going to happen a lot more frequently, where WoodElves, anyone who's trying to kite, is going to get rushed to death. But that's it for this battle. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.